Good afternoon to all of you from my side. We will just wait for 7 more minutes so that more participants can join in. Then we will start this webinar.
Sure, ma'am.
A very warm greetings from my side to all the professional colleagues, my seniors, and to the speakers also. So I think participants have already joined in, so we should start. Our speaker for today's session is Ms. Puspanjali Rajput. She is a qualified company secretary. She is very fun-loving, energetic, lively, young, and she will be enlightening us today on the topic Insights on Buyback for Private and Public Companies. So Puspanjali, you can just start.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madhuri ma'am, for such a lovely introduction. First of all, I'd like to thank all my colleagues, friends, and our esteemed viewers for joining today's session out of your busy schedule. I really appreciate. Okay, let me share my PPT first. Is screen visible?
Thank you. Yes, Pushpanshu, your skin is visible.
Okay. Okay, people. So first, we will start with what is buyback. Let us first understand what is buyback. As we all know, when a company buy back its shares from its existing shareholders, it's called buyback. Let us understand it in detail. It is a corporate act wherein a company makes a buyback offer to acquire its shares from existing shareholders within a given time frame at a predetermined price. The company announces an offer price for buyback that is generally higher than the current market price. Uh, However, there is a special point to note down that a company cannot buy back its own shares for the purpose of investment. Moving forward with the advantages of buyback, however, there are more advantages of buyback. I haven't covered all of them, but there are a few important reasons why company usually go for buyback. So first of all, stock buybacks help companies consolidate ownership. How stock buybacks help companies consolidate ownership? Let understand it in detail. Consolidation of promoters holding as the share bought back are extinguished by the company. Second one is to increase the value of its equity shares when company believes that they are undervalued. The next one is to increase the earning per share by reducing the dilution in company's earning. In addition with to pay the surplus cash to the shareholders when the company does not need it for doing business. And the last one is provide exit route to the members. So there are various advantages out of which I've covered some of them. The most important one is consolidation of promoters holding. सपोज कि बिफोर बायबैक अगर कंपनी के पास 1000 शेयर्स हैं जिसमें से 400 प्रमोटर्स के पास है एंड 600 शेयर होल्डर्स के पास है जो कि पब्लिक है, तो अगर कंपनी डिसाइड करती है कि उन्हें 200 शेयर्स बायबैक करनी, तो अगर हम बिफोर बायबैक कंसोलिडेशन ऑफ प्रमोटर्स होल्डिंग समझे तो अभी जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया कि 400 प्रमोटर्स के पास है तो उनकी परसेंटेज ऑफ शेयर होल्डिंग ओनली 40% है. बट जब एक कंपनी बायबैक कर लेती है 200 शेयर्स, तो आफ्टर बायबैक टोटल नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स कितने बचते हैं कंपनी के पास? ओनली 800. बट स्टिल प्रमोटर्स के पास अभी भी होल्डिंग 400 ही है, बस पब्लिक के पास से 600 से घट के 400 आ गई. तो इससे क्या हुआ कि प्रमोटर्स को बिना कुछ किए उनकी शेयर होल्डिंग अब आउट ऑफ 800 शेयर्स 400 बची है, जो कि 50% ऑटोमेटिकली आ जाती है. तो इससे क्या होता है कि ये बहुत ही एक बड़ा एडवांटेज होता है प्रमोटर्स के लिए कि उनकी कंसोलिडेशन ऑटोमेटिकली बायबैक करने से बढ़ जाती है. उन्हें बिना कुछ किए बायबैक से ये बेनिफिट, सबसे बड़ा वाला जो बेनिफिट हम बोल सकते हैं, वो मिल जाती है. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड विद कंडीशंस ऑफ बायबैक, there are various conditions a company has to comply first before moving for buyback, and it has all the conditions for buyback has been governed by section 68 to section 70 of the Companies Act. Let us understand first section 68. The first condition is the shares buyback must be authorized by its articles. However, if it is not authorized by article, then company still can go for buyback by passing special resolution in general meeting. First, it can alter its articles and then company can go easily for buyback. There is no issue in that. The second one is a special resolution has to be passed in general meeting of the company approving buyback. However, there is a special point to note down that if a company wants to buy back only up to 10% of its paid up equity capital and free reserve of the company, the board of the director, by passing board resolution only. I'm not here telling about the special resolution, because company is opting only for 10% of its paid up equity capital and free reserve. Then if company wants to buy back only up to 10% of its total paid up equity capital and free reserve, then a company need not require special resolution. It can approve such buyback only by passing board resolution at proper convened board meeting. But only one buyback is allowed in a year. If a company wants to buy back more than 10% only by passing board resolution at board meeting, then company cannot do that in the same year. It has to do by passing board resolution at board meeting in the next year. Company can easily go. The third one is the buyback must be equal to less than 25% of the total paid up capital and free reserve of the company. Let me first tell you that there are 3 tests through which a company can go for maximum amount that a company can calculate for buyback. The maximum amount for shares buyback in a financial year will be lowest of the 3 figures that I'm going to explain. That is point number C, D, and E. All these 3 conditions are called test conditions, and other conditions, as I have already discussed, are procedural conditions. So what is in point number C? The buyback must be equal to or less than 25% of the total paid up capital and free reserve of the company. This test is also known as resource test. What is the second one? Further, the buyback of equity share in a financial year must not exceed 25% of the 25% of the paid up equity capital in that financial year. What this test is known as? This test is known as shares outstanding test. Moving forward with the third and last test, that is debt equity test. What does it tell us about? The ratio of secured and unsecured debt owned by the company must not be twice the capital and its free reserve after such buyback. However, central government may prescribe a higher ratio of debt for a class or classes of companies, as you can say. So debt here include, there's a point to note down that here debt does not include only long-term debt. Debt include both long-term as well as short-term debt. So the maximum amount of shares a company can buy back will be the lowest of the 3 figures that has been calculated in the above point number C, D, and E. The 3 figures that we have calculated, and the lowest of all the 3 figures will be buyback by the company. And the last condition is all the shares or other specified securities for buyback must be fully paid up. If the shares are not fully paid up, then a company cannot buy back such shares. If a company still want to buy back, then company must have to call such share first and then have to make it fully paid up, and then company can buy back such shares. Now let us dive into the Rule 17 of the company's share capital and debenture rule 2014. What Rule 70 tells us about? According to aforesaid Rule 17, private companies and unlisted public companies shall, with other following norms. Firstly, company which has been authorized by special resolution shall buy back its shares, shall have to first file with the ROC, that is Registrar of Companies, a letter of offer in form SH8 along with the prescribed fee. ओके सो जैसे हम लोग स्पेशल रिजोल्यूशन पास कर लेते हैं, उसकी इमीडिएटली हमें आरओसी को एक लेटर ऑफ फॉर्म SH8 में सबमिट करनी पड़ती है, इंटीमेशन देना पड़ता है आरओसी को कि हमने SR पास किया है, हमने BR पास किया है, बोर्ड रिजोल्यूशन पास किया एंड हम बायबैक कर रहे हैं. Now let us talk about some of the practical aspects of e-form SH8. What is SH8? SH8 is a ROC form, ROC e-form, which includes some basic details of the company like company SIN, address, main division of the company, its description, particulars of directors and KMP. Along with the basic details, it also required details of last buyback that happened in the previous years, details of debt details. It also includes shareholding patterns, particulars of securities, its objective of securities authorized to be buyback, along with the other attachments also. अगर हम अटैचमेंट्स की बात करें तो इसमें हमें डिटेल्स ऑफ प्रमोटर्स देनी पड़ती हैं, डिटेल डिक्लेरेशन ऑफ ऑडिटर्स, हमें ऑडिटर से डिक्लेरेशन लेनी पड़ती है कि हम सॉल्वेंट हैं, हम बायबैक कर सकते हैं। एक कॉपी ऑफ बोर्ड रिजोल्यूशन जाएगा एंड कॉपी ऑफ नोटिस इशूड अंडर सेक्शन 68(3) along with audited financial statement of last 3 years. पीपल, अगर मैं आपको अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस से बताऊं तो रिसेंटली मैं एक बायबैक कर रही थी जिसमें मैंने सारे जो भी डिटेल्स हैं, सारे अटैचमेंट्स हमने दिए थे, लेकिन ये रिस्ट्रिक्टेड नहीं है। इसके अलावा अगर उस पर्टिकुलर जुरिडिक्शन के आरओसी को लगता है कि आपसे स्पेशल और भी डिटेल्स मांगी जा सकती है तो वो भी डिटेल्स मांग सकते हैं, ये रिस्ट्रिक्टेड नहीं है, ओनली ऑन दैट डिटेल्स। ओके, so the letter of next one is the letter of offer shall be dispatched to the shareholders or security holders immediately after filing the same with ROC but not later than 21 days from its filing with ROC. अब जैसे ही हम अपने फॉर्म SH8 और SH9 सबमिट कर देते हैं, हमें इमीडिएटली शेयर होल्डर्स को डिस्पैच करनी पड़ती है लेटर ऑफ ऑफर। The offer of buyback shall remain open for a period of not less than 15 days and not exceeding 30 days from the date of dispatch of letter of offer. However, the offer period can be less than of 15 days if it is approved by all the shareholders. जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया, ऑफर पीरियड मिनिमम 15 डेज एंड नॉट एक्सीडिंग 30 डेज के लिए खुली रहनी चाहिए, ये कंपलसरी है, इससे कम की नहीं हो सकती। बट इससे कम की भी ऑफर पीरियड हो सकती है अगर सारे शेयर होल्डर्स उसके लिए आपको अप्रूवल दे दें इन एडवांस। मूविंग विद द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, द कंपनी शैल कंप्लीट द वेरिफिकेशन ऑफ द ऑफर रिसीव्ड विद इन 15 days of the closure of the offer and the shares and other specified security lodged shall be deemed to be accepted unless the communication of rejection is made within 21 days from the closure of the offer. जैसे ही हमें सारे shares
can we ask the question?
Hello,
can we raise the questions at this time or after the completion of session we can raise a question?
Sir, you can raise a question after the completion of the session. We will
Right.
do question answer for 10-15 minutes once she completes her session.
Right.
Okay.
okay. The next point is the company shall complete the verification of offer received within 15 days from the closure of the offer and the share or other specified securities lodged shall be deemed to be accepted unless a communication of rejection is made within 21 days from the closure of offer. जैसे ही हमें सारी शेयर होल्डर्स की तरफ से टेंडर्ड हो जाती है शेयर्स, हमें विद इन 15 डेज नॉट लेटर देन 21 डेज हमें सारी वेरिफिकेशन कंप्लीट करनी होती है। अगर हम उन्हें रिजेक्ट नहीं करते हैं तो विद इन 21 डेज में ये डीम कर ली जाती है कि हमने सारा शेयर जो भी उनके तरफ से आया वो हमने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया। Moving forward with the next slide, the company shall immediately after closure of the offer open a separate bank account and deposit therein such sum as would make the entire sum and payable as consideration for the shares tendered for buyback in terms of these rules. The company shall within the prescribed time make payment of consideration in case to those shareholders whose securities have been accepted or returned the share certificate to the shareholders whose securities have not been accepted at all or the balance of the securities in case of part acceptance. Now moving forward with the sources of buyback, हमने बायबैक ऑथोराइज कर लिया, हमने बायबैक की सारी कंप्लायंसेस कर ली, हमने SH8 SH9 ROC को सबमिट कर दिया। अब जो मेन क्वेश्चन अराइज होती है यहाँ पे कि हम बायबैक की जो पेमेंट है वो किस किस सोर्सेस से कर सकते हैं। तो as per section 68 of the Companies Act 2013 allows a company to buy back its own shares or other specified securities out of its free reserve. The next one is security premium reserve and the last one is the proceeds of any shares or other specified securities. However, the buyback of any kind of shares or other specified securities cannot be made out of the proceeds of an earlier issue of the same kind of shares or same kind of other securities. Okay, for the purpose of section 68, free reserve includes security premium reserve also. So normally free reserve is that kind of reserve which is available for the payment of dividend. Normally, free reserve does not include security premium reserve. But here is a special point to note down that for the purpose of 68, section 68, free reserve includes security premium reserve also. Now, moving forward with section 69, transfer of certain sum to capital redemption reserve account. When a company purchases its own shares out of free reserve or security premium account, a sum equal to the nominal value of the shares of purchased shall be transferred to the capital redemption reserve account, and the details of such transfer shall also be disclosed in the balance sheet of the concerned financial year. The capital redemption account may be applied by the company in paying the unissued shares of the company to be issued to the member of the company as fully paid up bonus share. As we have already know, as per section 55, the capital redemption reserve account can also be used for the purpose of paying fully paid up equity shares. Here is a special point to note down that we only have to transfer certain sums to capital redemption reserve account only when shares a company buy back its own shares out of free reserve and security premium reserve. It is not compulsory when company is buying back its shares from the proceeds of any other shares or other specified securities, then it is not required to create a special capital redemption reserve account. Okay. Now moving forward with section 70, that is prohibition of buyback in certain cases. If a company is prohibited under section 70, then a company cannot opt for buyback under section 68 and section 69. Firstly, company have to check out that whether it is prohibited or not prohibited under section 70. What section 70 tells us about? Section 70 of the Companies Act 2013 provides that no company shall directly or indirectly purchase its own shares or other specified securities through any subsidiary company. Here's a point to note down that any subsidiary company, including its own subsidiary companies, okay, or through any investment company or group of investment companies, or if a default is subsisting in repayment of deposit or interest due thereon, redemption of debentures or preference shares, or payment of dividend, or repayment of any term loan or interest thereon to any financial institution. If a company is defaulting in such repayments, then a company is strictly prohibited for going for buyback under section 70. It is further provided that no company shall directly or indirectly purchase its own shares or other specified securities if the company has not complied with the provision of section 92, that is filing of annual return. As we already know, as per section 92, a company has to mandatorily file annual return within 60 days of the AGM. Section 173, that is payment of dividend within 30 days of declaration. Section 127, section 127, which is failure to distribute dividend, and section 129, that is preparation of balance sheet and statement of profit and loss in accordance with schedule 3. अगर एक company default करती है इन sections, above sections में से किसी में भी, तो वो company buyback के लिए नहीं जा सकती, वो strictly prohibited है as per section 70, including with the other details that I have already discussed. I hope you guys are okay with all that slides right till now.
Yes, Pushpanjali. You have briefed us really very well.
Thank you, guys. Now I'd like to request Mr. Anuj Jalan to carry the session forward. Anuj.
Thank you, Pushpanjali, and a very warm welcome to all our viewers. So now let's move on to our next topic, which is notice for buyback. Now, as we all know that notice under section 101 has to be given to the shareholders for the buyback. So the notice for the meeting at which the special resolution is proposed to be passed under clause B of subclause 2 shall be accompanied with an explanatory statement as per section 102 of the Companies Act. हम लोग को explanatory statement भी देना पड़ता है, next करना पड़ता है, जिसमें हम लोग details of buyback देंगे, जो जैसे कि full and complete disclosure of all material facts. अब हम लोग buyback करेंगे तो हम लोग shareholder को तो बताएंगे सारी material facts क्या है, हम लोग क्यों necessity क्या है buyback की, classes of shares or securities intended to be purchased. कौन से shares खरीदेंगे? अब आपके पास amount हम कितना invest करेंगे buyback के अंदर, और कितना time लगेगा इस buyback को complete करने में. The time limit for the completion of the buyback. Pushpanjali, please change the slide. So अब ये completion जो buyback का है, अब ये कितना time लगता है? मतलब ये कितने टाइम के अंदर हो जाना चाहिए और अगला बायबैक हम कितने टाइम बाद ला सकते हैं? जैसे एवरी बायबैक मस्ट बी कंप्लीटेड विद इन 12 मंथ्स फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ पासिंग और स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन और रेजोल्यूशन पास्ड बाय द बोर्ड. जैसे आपको पुष्पांजलि जी ने बताया कि एक हम बायबैक करते तो हम स्पेशल रेजोल्यूशन के थ्रू कर सकते हैं या तो बोर्ड रेजोल्यूशन के थ्रू. अगर हम 25% ऑफ द बायबैक कर रहे हैं तो हमें एसआर चाहिएगा, और अगर हम 10% ऑफ द बायबैक कर रहे हैं तो हमारा बोर्ड रेजोल्यूशन से हो जाएगा. तो वो जो भी दोनों में से जो भी हम ऑप्शन लेते हैं, हमें वो बायबैक विद इन 12 मंथ्स कंप्लीट कर लेना है. फिर let's move on to the next slide. Methods of buyback. Now, what are the methods of the buyback? The buyback must be made from existing shareholders or security holders on a proportionate basis, from open market or from the open market, or by purchasing the securities issued to the employees of the company pursuant to a scheme of stock option or sweat equity. We can buy from these three. Now, let's move on to the next slide. Now, after that, we have to make a declaration of solvency that the company won't go bankrupt after the buyback, that company has enough cash to move forward. So for this, we will give a declaration of solvency. Before making the buyback, the company is required to file with the registrar a declaration of solvency in form SH9. And the solvency shall be filed by shall be verified by an affidavit to the effect that the board of directors have made full inquiry into the affairs of the company, as a result of which they have formed an opinion that the company is capable to meet its liabilities and shall not be rendered insolvent within 1 year from the date of declaration of buyback offer. So अब बायबैक ऑफर जो हम लोग करेंगे उसके 1 साल के अंदर कंपनी इतनी भी कैश लेस ना हो जाए कि वो कंपनी इंसॉल्वेंट हो जाए, तो इसलिए ये डिक्लेरेशन जाता है SH9 में. It must be signed by at least 2 directors, out of which one shall be the managing director if any. However, in case अगर उस कंपनी में मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर नहीं है, then it shall be signed by at least 2 directors. और ये जो फाइल होता है, ये रजिस्ट्रार को फाइल होता है. Pushpanjali, change the slide. Now, after the completion of the buyback, there are certain formalities we need to carry forward. So after the buybacks, first thing we have to do is extinguishment of the securities. अब जो securities हमने खरीद लिए उन्हें destroy भी तो करना है. उन securities का अब क्या काम है? So the company must extinguish and physically destroy the securities bought back within 7 days of the last date of completion of buyback. Within 7 days हमारा buyback के extinguishment हो जाना चाहिए shares का. फिर further issue of shares. When a company completes a buyback of shares or other specified securities, it must not make further issue of same kind of shares or other specified securities within a period of 6 months, except by way of bonus shares or by discharge of subsisting obligations such as conversion of warrant, stock option, sweat equity, or conversion of preference shares or debentures into equity shares. अब अगर हम बायबैक कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद वही शेयर्स वापस इशू कर देते हैं, तो बायबैक करने का तो कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ. अगर वही शेयर्स हमने इशू बायबैक किया वापस शेयर होल्डर से और फिर वापस उन्हीं को इशू कर दिया, तो कोई फायदा तो हुआ नहीं हमारे बायबैक का. इसीलिए ये प्रोविजन एग्जिस्ट करता है. Register or bought back securities. We need to create a register of buyback. So the securities we buy back shall be entered into the register in form SH10. So the company who buybacks the shares or other specified securities is required to maintain a register in form SH10 containing the particulars of bought back shares. Now, after the register of shares, we need to file a return of buyback to the registrar. So for that, we need to file form SH11 along with SH15. in which we give a certificate, and that is signed by 2 directors of the company, including the managing director, if any, or by any other 2 directors. So the company, after the completion of the buyback under these rules, shall file to the registrar, in case of listed company, with the registrar and the Securities and Exchange Board of India, a return in form SH11 along with the fee. And there shall be annexed to the return filed with the registrar in form number SH11 a certificate in form SH15 signed by 2 directors of the company, including the managing director, if any, certifying that the buyback of securities have been made in compliance with the provisions of the Act and the rules made thereunder. Rationale of buyback. अब ये buyback हम लोग करते क्यों है? A buyback allows the companies to invest in them, reducing the number of shares outstanding in the market, increasing the proportion of shares owned by investors. A company may feel that its shares are undervalued and make a buyback to provide investors with return. And since the company is optimistic about its current operation, a repurchase also increases the proportionate of earning that a company has allocated. This will increase the stock price in the same price earning ratio is maintained. The purchase of shares reduces the number of existing shares, making each one worth a higher percentage of the corporation. The earning per share of the shares therefore increase with the price earning ratio decreases, or the price earning of the share. Repurchase of shares demonstrate to the investors that the company has sufficient cash for emergencies and a low probability of economic problems. Now, अब ये जो इतनी रैशनल मैंने बताया, इसके लिए मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूं आपको समझाने के लिए कि सपोज देयर इज अ कंपनी एक्स लिमिटेड and it has 10 shareholders. The company earns a profit of 80 every year. The EPS shall be rupees 8. The company wants to buy back 2 shares from the shareholders. So now after अब 2 शेयर अगर कंपनी खरीद लेते हैं तो उनके पास 8 ही शेयर होल्डर बचेंगे. तो उन 8 शेयर होल्डर में जब 80 रुपीस का प्रॉफिट डिवाइड होगा तो EPS 10 हो जाएगा, जो कि पहले 8 था. Now, if the company decides to distribute only 8 and keep rupees 2 as reserves, then the value of equity will rise, thus making the shares more lucrative. Now, if the company keeps a proportionate of its earning, so the value of the equity share will rise, thereby making the investors feel that the share is very worthy and good for investment purposes. Now, let me take you to a little tour of the business world and the recent happening all around us. Even in the tough times of COVID, when the companies were slowing, things were not going right for the companies. Even at that time, some of the big companies came out with huge buybacks. The biggest buyback offer in financial year 21 was given by TCS of 16,000 crores and by Wipro of 9,500 crores. Now, it is not just the private companies or the public companies who have given big buyback offers. Even the PSUs have given big buyback offers. 6 out of the 10 biggest buybacks were done by the PSUs, such as Hindustan Petroleum Limited, which did a buyback of rupees 2,500, NTPC, NMDC, GAIL, National Aluminium Corporation, Engineering India Limited. All these companies did a huge buyback. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuj and Pushpanjali, for this wonderful session. Now, I would request our viewers and participants, if they have any queries, they can just send them in the chat box, or they can also ask personally.
Hello.
Rajiv ji, you had one query, I believe.
Am I audible?
Yes, Rakhi, please ask.
Yeah. Hello, Pushpanjali. I want to know when does the MCA master data get updated post buyback details? Like the paid up capital gets reduced. When does the master data get updated with the details?
Normally, it takes a few days if the employees really wanted to do it, but sometimes it may also take a year to do the same. As I have seen in recent times that I was doing a buyback of a company. Since last 1 year, I am requesting ROC to update, but it's still pending. So
yes, actually, I also raised the ticket. I also raised the ticket to MCA regarding the same, and they said that by filing SS8 or SS9, SS11, 15, it doesn't get reduced. I think we have to file some annual report or annual AOC for NGT 7. We have to give the details of buyback, I think. Is that so? I want to ask.
No, madam. Actually, this is the work of the registrar of companies only. So you will have to request your concerned ROC, and then he will generate a CRF. It is their internal form which they used to generate and forward the same to the ministry. And only then ministry is obligated to update the master data, and the paid up capital would be then updated. If you will give this effect in the annual return, then it would not be appropriate or as per law, ma'am.
Then as per Pushpanjali, she has waited for 1 year. Then do I have to wait for 1 year too?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, who is your concerned ROC?
Kolkata. ROC
Kolkata. Ma'am, in Kolkata, you can just visit ROC office and request them. Actually, what she explained is when actually at that time COVID was going on and we were not personally allowed to visit ROC office. But nowadays, since now you can just go and visit ROC office and make him understand your concern, then he will do the needful. Nowadays, it is not taking so much time, ma'am. It will be done in, I would say 15 to 20 days and hardly in 1 month's time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other queries do we have? Thank you, Puspanjali and Anuj. Actually, your session was so well explained and self-explanatory that I believe all the queries has already been answered, and we have understood in a very lucid manner. So, if any viewer or participant has any further query, they can anytime they can reach out to us on our email ID. So, yes, definitely. Rajiv sir, do you have any query?
Yes,
Because you
madam.
were
Yes,
asking in
madam.
between.
Yes, madam. Good afternoon. It was a good
Good
session.
afternoon.
I
Thank you.
appreciate this. And
Thank you, sir.
I have some queries regarding buyback also. First of all, I just want to know, just as to inform in the slide, there is verification of the offer. The company will verify the offer within 15 days from the date of close of the offer. And if they accept it, okay, otherwise within 21 days, they have to reject the offer. Otherwise, it will be deemed it is accepted. My question is that, because as per offer, we have to open the bank account separately. We have to transfer the money in a separate bank account within 7 days from the closure of the offer. If I have to reject the offer in 21 days, how can I come to know? How can transfer this money is to be transferred to bank account within 7 days, the closure of the account, closure of the offer? This is my first query. Second query is that it is on a proportionate basis, as informed by through Anuji. Anujalanji informed ki it is on proportionate basis. If I received the number of this shares pledged offered to me, which are less than the quantity which I have to supposed to buy, the same proportional will be applicable in this case also, or I have an option to purchase a whole lot which has been lost to me if it is less than the number, maximum number. Third question is that there is capital gain. In case of capital gain, company is required to pay the capital gain in case of buyback offer.
Sir, I would request you to ask your question one by one, otherwise she won't remember your queries, sir.
Okay. First,
So let us come to question number
verification of offer.
Yes, sir. Pushpanjali, would you like to answer his first query regarding verification and opening of bank account and payment of buyback amount in the bank account?
Yes,
I believe that was your query, sir.
Yes. सर जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया था कि विद इन 15 डेज में अगर हमें वेरीफाई करनी होती है और उसमें हमें यस और इधर नो करनी होती है. अगर हमने कुछ भी रिप्लाई नहीं किया है शेयर होल्डर्स को तो वो मानी जाती है कि हमने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है. राइट सर. तो सर आपकी क्वेरी है कि ये शेयर होल्डर्स को कैसे पता चलेगा कि उन्होंने एक्सेप्ट किया और इधर रिजेक्ट किया है. राइट.
नो, मेरी क्वेरी ये है कि बैंक में कंपनी को पैसा ट्रांसफर करना है जो उसने सिक्योरिटी परचेज करनी है. मैंने कंपनी को शेयर लॉन्च कर दिए कि मेरे 100 शेयर आप इसको करो. कंपनी को 21 डेज का टाइम है क्लोजर ऑफ ऑफर का, मेरे शेयर को एक्सेप्ट करे या रिजेक्ट करे. लेकिन उनको बैंक में ट्रांसफर करने के लिए 7 दिन का टाइम दिया गया है. तो हाउ कैन द कंपनी कम टू नो कि 7 डेज में कितना मैंने एक्सेप्ट किया, कितना रिजेक्ट करना है? 21 डेज.
Yes, sir. Sir, it is 7 days of completion of buyback, no? So, sir, once the buyback offer is verified by the company, then only it will be tantamount to completion of buyback. And then only, sir, the company is required to transfer the amount.
17 once again, if you don't mind.
Yes. Sure, sir.
Can I take a book? Yeah, you are reading. If you allow me, I can take a book, Mama. It is not with me right now, because I am sitting somewhere else not on my seat. If you allow me, I'll bring the book, please.
Yes, sure, sir.
This rule 17. Sub rule 8. It says the company shall immediately after the date of closure of the offer open a separate bank account and deposit therein such sum as would make up the entire sum due and payable as consideration for the shares tendered for buyback in terms of these rules. तो इसमें 7 days आफ्टर क्लोजर ऑफ ऑफर लिखा हुआ है. क्लोजर ऑफ ऑफर कब माना जाएगा? 15 दिन का जो टाइम से ओपन किया है वो क्लोजर है, जाती जो अपना वेरिफिकेशन पर क्लोजर होगा वो क्लोजर है. किसको क्लोजर मानेंगे हम लोग इसमें?
सर दिस क्लोजर
जो आप कह रहे हैं इसके साथ में देखो
सर एक्चुअली
ऑफर ओपन रखा 15 दिन के लिए, उसके बाद 15 दिन में को और मिल जाएंगे कि मेरे को कौन सा एक्सेप्ट करना है, रिजेक्ट करना है। 30 दिन हो गए, इसके बाद 7 दिन के अंदर फिर ट्रांसफर करूंगा बैंक अकाउंट के अंदर मनी को। आपके हिसाब से ये मतलब है?
Sir, this deposit of money is for the whole amount. For example, if in the general meeting you have proposed that you will be buying back shares amounting to 2 lakh rupees, then sir, within 7 days of closure of offer period, that whole 2 lakh rupees needs to be deposited in the buyback account, sir.
ठीक है।
And then once offers are verified, then from that bank account only you will be transferring the funds to the respective shareholders whose offers have been verified and accepted by the company. Okay.
Whole amount means if I have an offer of rupees 1 crore,
Yes,
if I
sir.
someone has lost the share of 50 lakh rupees to me, so I have to transfer 1 crore to that account.
Yes, sir. The whole amount, because it says within 7 days of completion of offer period. So, sir, for verification, we have a time period of 21 days. But, sir, if we are doing, if a company is giving offer for buyback, then that company should have that adequate, sufficient money. That is why, sir, in Act it is mentioned that the whole amount needs to be submitted to the bank account. Means it needs to be deposited to the bank account within 7 days of completion of offer period. Means company should have adequate, sufficient funds. That once the offer once the offer from shareholders are verified, then the company should be able to make the payment of the buyback amounts. This is the intent of the law.
You mean to say I have to transfer the whole amount in bank account?
Yes.
And whether
yes.
I reject the offer, I accept the offer, it is immaterial.
Right, sir. Because company should have the adequate funds for making the payment to the holders of securities.
So it means I have to give the offer only of those shares which I want to purchase only, not the whole offer. If I want to purchase 80 lakhs rupee amount of share, I have to give 80 lakhs offer, not a 1 crore offer.
Yes, sir. Yes.
First thing
right.
is that.
Right.
So can I deposit this 80 lakh 1 crore rupees in a bank account in installment? Today, suppose I deposit 50 lakh rupees, next day 20 lakh rupees, then 20.
So actually,
this is the restriction on that?
So there is no prohibition, but this is also not the general procedure which company follows.
It is a private limited company, small company.
Yes. In small companies, so we can do that, but for bigger companies, I would not advise.
No, it's a small unlisted company, small company.
Yes, sir. Then you can go ahead and do the same. But sir, in return of buyback, we are also required to attach the bank statement wherein we are indicating the amount of deposit of buyback amount. So you can do that because there is no prohibition, but still, sir, it is not advisable.
Okay. Second thing is that, as you told me, it is we can make the buyback from free reserves. I cannot keep the cash with me. I have invested that money and make the investment. Can I sell the investment and buy back the shares? No
So
company
actually,
will
I did
keep the
not
cash
get
with
your
it.
query. Actually, I did not get your query, sir.
My query is that from the reserve and surplus, company can buy back its securities.
Right,
Okay.
sir.
But no company keeps the hard cash or in hand or bank. They will invest the money in some type of securities, etc. Okay. I want to buy back the shares. Can I do it from the sale of investment? Will it be part of the reserve and surplus?
Sale of so actually this is more of a accounting query, so this would not be the appropriate forum to answer this query, sir. But still,
for which, sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, you have to check your balance sheet first, whether it is there reserves and surplus or not. You have to check.
I have sufficient surplus
then it will be treated by the auditors.
Okay.
It entered in the books. So whatever, if there is a reserves and surplus, you can do it.
It is sufficient with me. No
problem. Then fine, sir. Then fine, utilize, show it in the books that this is used for reserves and surplus and reduce that amount from your balance sheet. Auditor will do that.
Okay. Next question. Next question is that proportionate basis. Suppose if I'll given the offer to purchase 10 lakh shares, I received only 8 lakh shares from the shareholder. They lodged me 8 lakh shares only. Am I supposed to purchase proportionately, or I can purchase the whole 8 lakh shares?
So you have given an offer of 10 lakhs. So if you receive
Your voice is breaking, Anuji.
hello, hello.
Yes,
Yes.
Anuji.
Sir, you can, if you have received a buyback offer of 10 lakh, and if you have given an offer of 10 lakh, and you have received an offer of you have received shares of 8 lakh, you can do, obviously you can do a buyback of 8 lakh because you have given an offer of 10 lakh. There is no need to do it on a proportionate basis.
If it is oversubscribed, then have to go proportionately.
Yes, if it was oversubscribed, if you have received more applications than the amount which you had offered for buyback, then you had to do for proportionate basis. But in this case, you do not have to go for proportionate basis. You can do the whole buyback.
Sir, anyhow, it should not exceed 25% of the paid up capital.
Yeah,
It should-
yes.
That's it.
Correct.
That you have to comply.
My last question is that who will bear the capital gain tax? Because as per income tax act, company has to pay.
Yes. Section 115 QA.
115 QA, correct.
Yes, sir. The company has to
Now
pay.
the question is that I'm purchasing the share from different shareholders, and they have a different rates of their purchase. They may have a capital gain also. They may have capital loss also. Can it be set off against each other, or have to pay the only capital gain and capital set off?
You have to pay the.
Set off cannot be allowed.
Section 115 QA applicable only for the capital gains,
Correct.
not for the capital loss. You itself has said.
Agreed.
So only for the capital gains comes, you are going to pay the tax.
Agreed. But my question is that suppose मैंने कैपिटल मेरे पास 10 शेयर होल्डर्स हैं जिनके मैंने शेयर परचेज करे हैं, उसमें से 4 को तो प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, 6 को लॉस हो रहा है अमाउंट के ऊपर, तो सेट अमाउंट करके जो बैलेंस आएगा कैपिटल गेन का, उस पर टैक्स पे करना है मेरे को, या 6 का पे करूंगा, 4 को फॉरवर्ड कर दूंगा?
Sir, I can answer your query that 115 QA is a one-time tax. It is a final payment of tax, the credit of which is not available to the shareholders. It is a tax on company, but not on shareholders. Correct. So it is a final tax, irrespective the shareholder has a capital gain or a capital loss. This has been brought in the provision of income tax just to counter that some companies were buying back their shares instead of paying final dividend on which DDT was applicable. The company, some of the company used to follow this step in just to order to avoid dividend distribution tax, and hence these provisions was brought into the sections to counter this kind of tax disputes, tax evasion, and this has to be considered as a final payment of tax. And 115 Q tax liability is the tax liability in the company. Correct. Even if the company is a loss-making company and buying back its share, so if then also the income tax is required to be paid. Correct. But my question is that on some of the shareholders, companies, because out of 10, 6 have a capital loss, 4 have a capital gain. If I'll set off against these capital gain against capital loss, so I have to pay tax on the difference amount, or have to pay only the tax on gain and have to forego the loss, because there is no credit in the hands of the shareholders. My personal view is that I can set off the loss against the profit, but I want the legal position on that. So there is no tax liability on the money received. Now, if 115 QA, the amount received by the shareholders from the buyback, that amount is not taxable. It's already suffered tax in the hands of company. Correct.
So I can set off the loss against capital gain.
Which capital gain? This is not giving rise to capital gain.
There is a provision. If I'll buy back my security, there is a tax, capital gain tax also on this. and company will bear this tax, capital gain tax. Okay, my question was that if I have a capital gain of ₹100 and 4 shareholders have a capital 100 and 6 have a capital loss of 40 rupees. The difference of 60 rupees which I have a gain, I have to pay tax on rupees 60 or the whole amount of 100 which has a gain. Because my personal view is that because this payment of tax is not in the shareholder will not get the credit of this payment of tax. So it should be set off against the loss, and the balance amount company has to pay the capital gain tax. And what is your view? Yes, I want to know.
My view is that on this amount received by individual shareholder, that amount is not taxable in the hand of individual shareholder.
Agreed. But while making the payment of the tax, I have to calculate the amount of tax.
No, who from the you are
company as a company I'm asking.
Okay. As a company
I'm asking.
As a company, you are asking that if the shareholder is having some losses also.
Correct.
No, sir. It is a final payment. 20% is the fixed slab rate. There is no
20% is fixed. I will pay 20%. Agreed. No doubt about it. But on which amount?
Not on the buyback amount. Not on the buyback amount. There is a calculation prescribed.
Gain is 100 rupees. Loss is 40 rupees. I have to pay 20% of 100 or 20% of 60 rupees. On which amount I have to pay tax?
Sir, you have to see market price, issue price and market price, sir.
Sir, agreed.
Yes,
market price, buyback price, whatever difference of that. If shareholder having a loss, they will a loss. If they have a gain, it's a gain. And I have to pay the tax on the gain. Can I set off this gain against the loss or not?
No, sir.
There is no specific.
The reason is that because you are making the final payment to the suppose 500 rupees per share is the buyback price, and 20% suppose the gain arising on the shareholder is 100 rupees due to buyback. Issue price was 400 rupees. On 120 rupees tax is paid by the company. The company is not making net payment to the shareholder 480 rupees. The company is making payment of 500 rupees to the shareholder.
Correct.
This 20% is on 500 want to be borne by the company.
Correct. I fully agreed. This is a process we have to follow. But now my question is different. I'll explain it. मेरे 10 शेयर होल्डर में से 6 के ऊपर कैपिटल गेन हुआ है 4 के ऊपर मुझे लॉस हुआ है, तो मेरे को वो एडजस्ट करके डिफरेंशियल अमाउंट पे टैक्स पे करूंगा ना मैं। तो एज ए कंपनी मेरे लिए तो सब बराबर है। बाईबैक तो मेरा पूरा एज ए होल आया है मेरे पास ना। मैं तो इंडिविजुअल थोड़ी सीख रहा हूँ कि आपको लॉस हुआ है, आपको गेन हुआ है, क्योंकि मैं तो एज ए कंपनी एज ए होल मुझे देखना है ना कि कितना लॉस है कितना प्रॉफिट है।
Sir, going by that logic, if suppose a company is doing a business and went into losses, and the company has declared dividend to that particular shareholder, और डिविडेंड इनकम अगर उसके हाथ में एज अ बिजनेस इनकम इज ट्रीटेड, तो वहां पे तो डीडीटी भी तो काटने का प्रोविजंस है ना। तो दिस इज कैपिटल गेन
टैक्स मैं तो काटूंगा, पे भी करूंगा, नो डाउट अबाउट इट, बट किस अमाउंट पे करूंगा, मेरा वो क्वेश्चन।
अमाउंट इज
टैक्स मैंने पे करना है,
प्राइस माइनस द इशू प्राइस।
देखो इशू प्राइस और बाईबैक प्राइस का डिफरेंस जो आएगा वो मेरा निकालेगा, कैपिटल गेन है कैपिटल लॉस है, मेरे को वो निकालेगा उसमें। लेकिन टैक्स तो पे करना होगा, किस अमाउंट में, 100 पे करूंगा 60 पे करूंगा, मेरा ये वाला क्वेश्चन। कुछ लॉस है, कुछ
नहीं, कैपिटल गेन मतलब कैपिटल गेन, वी कैन नॉट यूज द वर्ड कैपिटल गेन हियर। द डिफरेंस बिटवीन इशू प्राइस एंड द मार्केट प्राइस, उस पे 20% टैक्स लगेगा, नॉट ऑन द कंसिडरेशन।
Sir, you have muted. Sir, you have muted yourself. Rajiv, sir, you have muted yourself.
मैं कह रहा हूँ कि कैपिटल गेन जो मेरे को लगेगा 10 का इकट्ठा करके लगेगा ना, इंडिविजुअल तो नहीं लगेगा ना कि 10 का मैंने एक से बना लिया, बाई बैक कर लिया, उसमें किसी को लॉस है किसी को प्रॉफिट है, मिलाकर जो फिगर आएगी मेरे पास उसके ऊपर आई विल पे द टैक्स ऑन दैट। इंडिविजुअल नहीं पे कर रहा, मतलब एज ए कंपनी पे कर रहा हूँ।
Okay, I understand your query. You are saying that because many shares were issued to many shareholders at very different prices.
Correct.
और आप उसको suppose first tranche of equity share was issued at 10 rupees, second tranche of equity shares was issued at 50 rupees. Correct. हाँ, in that case we have to go by class of shares, each class of shares. तो
एक ही क्लास है मेरे पास, और इसमें जो इशू प्राइस सबकी डिफरेंट है, बायबैक प्राइस सबकी सेम है, तो किसी को लॉस हो किसी को प्रॉफिट होगा।
इशू प्राइस हाउ इट कैन बी डिफरेंट? अगर सेम क्लास ऑफ
डिफरेंट इसलिए किसी की 10 रुपए की परचेज है, किसी की 50 रुपए की परचेज है।
बट इशू प्राइस इन द हैंड्स ऑफ कंपनी क्या है? उनका तो चेंज होता रहेगा ना।
ऐसे कंपनी के हैंड में तो प्रीमियम के साथ ही तो आएगा।
हाँ, मतलब
कंपनी ने 100 रुपए का शेयर इशू किया, मैं लिस्टेड कंपनी की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, प्राइवेट कंपनी की बात कर रहा हूँ। मैंने पिछले 5 सालों में 5 बार शेयर इशू कर दिए। फर्स्ट टाइम 10 रुपए का शेयर था।
In that case issue price we have to calculate issue price ना। Issue price will be different for different issuance of shares. So accordingly the difference will be calculated. Total issuance price.
Correct.
So that will automatically be captured in
मान के जो कैलकुलेशन करेंगे, गेन जो टैक्स के निकालेंगे हम लोग, जो गेन होगा इस दोनों का उस पर टैक्स पे करना होगा।
Yes.
So it is another set off of the loss हो गया, तो एक सेट ऑफ हो गया।
In that as you can say it is set off हो रहा है, but actually difference is taxable ना, issue price और market price। issue price में 100 भी आ रहा है, मेरा 80 भी आ रहा है, मेरा 70 भी आ रहा है।
बिल्कुल ठीक है।
तो difference is automatically getting averaged।
करेक्ट, एवरेज होके निकले, जो निकलेगा उसको दे देंगे। ठीक बात, बिल्कुल ठीक है। अच्छा, मेरी छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट हो रहा है मैडम आपसे, कैन यू पुट दिस वीडियो ऑन यूट्यूब so that we can see any time?
Yes sir, we will be uploading this video on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much sir.
Thank you Abhishek ji, thank you so much for your query. Thank you madam, thank you Pushpanjali madam, thank you, so nice of you, thanks a lot.
Thank you sir for making this session interactive. We really liked your participation sir. Look forward for your more participation in the upcoming webinars. Look forward.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you Pushpanjali and Anuj. I think we are getting ahead of time, so I'm concluding this webinar now. Thank you so much. Thank you all the participants.
Thank you
For joining and participating. Thank you sir. Thank you Shri.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you sir.